we still need to be high performers. So I'm looking forward to learning. I'm still in the office. I'm doing multitasking. So looking forward to just get the best out of this. Thank you and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Irene, for the insights, and we also wish you a great day. So with that, I seek to start our training. And maybe just as a disclaimer is just to inform you that this training is being recorded. So, and after the training, you can be able to access this training through our website. So that is always good to know that we are being recorded. Like we all said, the people have spoken, is that we are all looking towards being inspirational leaders with a high performance tip. So, and I do pray that at the end of these sessions, we're having 2 sessions today and tomorrow, is that for real, we're going to be better leaders. And like someone said that they're not in HR, but they're part of this training. And I want to say that leadership is in all areas. We even have the personal leadership. So we are all in the right place. And I believe that you're going to learn 1 or 2 tips. So to kick us up is just an introduction, is just a little story. And I hope you guys can see my screen. So I don't talk. Can see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm going to take you through a story about a young man called David. Wow. Don't know, it's not moving. Just give me a few. Okay, thank you. It's now okay. So in terms of the objectives of this training, we have 10 objectives as highlighted. So the first objective will be for us to describe the pillars of inspirational and high performance leaders. We're also going to explain the personal skills for inspirational leadership, explain the social skills that you require for you to be an inspirational leader. We're going to explain the techniques of self-assessment for leadership skills. This is whereby you as a person are able to assess yourself and ask yourself, where am I and where would I want to be? Then based on that assessment, then we're going to discuss the steps that you require to develop a leadership plan. Then we describe the elements of leadership development plan, the habits that you do require to be an inspirational leader, the motivation or self-motivation steps for inspirational leadership. I will also explain the strategies for leadership development. And finally, we're going to describe the characteristics of an effective inspirational leader. Like you see, we have 10 objectives. They may look like there are many, but what we've done is that we've broken them into small pieces so that at least we're able to understand each as it's supposed to be. And out of the 10 objectives, you're going to describe, or we're going to interact with 5 objectives today. That is up to the steps to develop a leadership plan. Then the other steps or the other skills, we're going to learn them tomorrow. So that is how the objective is. And like I said earlier, my expectations from you guys in this training is that we all participate and let us engage. And where you're not clear, you can maybe you can write on the chat, or you can lift up your hand and I will be able to call up to you. So like I said, after the objectives, I want to start with a story. I don't know what's happened to my laptop. It keeps on hanging out. There we are. So this is a story of a guy called David. And I would want to request that if it's okay, maybe I can put off my camera. Because like, you know, at times when you have the camera and with this weather, it tends to hang. And I'm thinking that is why it's my laptop seems to be behaving in a way that I can't understand. So if it's okay with you guys, can I turn off my video? Maybe I can be putting it on and off.
It's all right.
Thank
It's
you
fine.
very much. Thank you guys for understanding. So we start with the story of David. There's a guy called David Lee who works as a senior manager at a Smith Glow farm, and this is a leading pharmaceutical manufacturing company. So David, he specializes in medicine, and specifically for diabetes, and so he has very many customers who are diabetic. Can see my screen is not moving. Or is it moving on your side?
No, you can look for the cursors down at the bottom. Maybe you could try. There are some gray looking instructions there of forward, backwards, what you can use at the bottom. Now it's moving.
Okay, let's see. In case it hangs, I just request maybe I move to another laptop, but it's okay. So what David does, he's a customer care, and most of his customers are diabetic. So he has been working in this company for the last decade, that is over 10 years, and has grown right from being a frontline sales executive. And what is done as part of a developing future leaders, the human resource department of this organization has started a new initiative called Future Head. So as part of this new initiative, the company identifies individuals who possess the potential of growing into good leaders into the future. However, these individuals lack a sense of direction and need support and guidance from the top management in the company. So the potential leadership candidates identified and given the opportunity to interact with top leaders for a week so that they can be mentored by them. In this case, David is chosen and he has gotten the chance to interact with Sean, who is the president of the operations in the organization. So before the meeting, Sean, who is one of the directors, gets to know about David's career path and his strengths and weaknesses from his records. When they meet, he tells David that he's a great manager, but he will need to develop certain particular skills to become a charismatic leader. David is keen in developing all the necessary skills, and Sean assures him that if he can do that, he will truly grow to become a great leader. So Sean tells David to start thinking of himself and his leadership skills, keeping in mind the following points: visionary capabilities and strengths in articulating the vision to the teams, strategic capabilities and expertise in developing a plan for the organization, leading the teams towards a direction with acceptance from team members, demonstrate his qualities and strengths to his subordinates, smoothly and effectively work and managing others' contributions towards product, service, quality improvement. Hence, you can see that being a truly inspirational leader who can drive high performance requires a particular set of skills. I repeat, hence you can see from that discussion or from the interaction of David and his director is that truly to be an inspirational leader who can drive high performance, you require a particular set of skills. And it is with that background that we want to learn about inspirational and high performance leadership in details. And we start that by once again just reminding us of our objectives. And the first objective is going to describe the pillars of inspirational and high performance leaders. And before I go to that objective, I would want to pose a question to all of us. When you hear of inspirational leadership or high performance leaders, who comes into your mind? I'm sure for us to want to be something, there's always someone we want to aspire to be. So I pose a question to anyone who will be willing to volunteer. I love people who volunteer. Who comes to your mind? So I open it up to the floor. Anybody can say, you can say it or you can put it on the chat. So who comes to your mind when you think of an inspirational and a high performer leader? Over to you, good people.
I don't know about the high performer, but I think of Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa, or the people that we know. I don't know whether Martin Luther King. At least they were very inspirational leaders.
True. I agree with you. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther. I totally agree with you. Someone else? Who comes to your mind?
Wangari Maathai.
Wangari Maathai. Thanks for getting local.
Manu Chandaria.
Manu Chandaria.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Yes. Anybody else? The last person to tell us somebody whom they think is inspirational? So we go with what we have. So if I may ask, why would one think that Mother Teresa is an inspirational leader? Anyone else apart from Java? Is it Javi? Sorry if in case I misspelled you. Juvi. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. Why would you pick Mother Teresa as inspirational leader?
Well, because of the service that she did for other people, caring for the sick. You know, she was rewarded by people giving recognition of her work. But the work of service that she and her people were doing was very extraordinary.
It was extraordinary, I agree. Thank you. Barack Obama. Why Barack Obama?
He broke barriers that had not been achieved previously, and also as he climbed up the ladder of leadership, he carried the community with him.
Carry the community with him, right? Okay. So with those two understanding, or with those two people, Mother Teresa and Barack Obama, for purposes of this training, as we talk about inspirational leaders, I may be referring to them once in a while, so at least you can be able to internalize. So as we describe the pillars of inspirational and high performance leaders, you'll pick that two of these leaders that we've picked for purposes of this training have those capabilities or have those pillars. So the first, I don't know what happens the moment I pause, then it becomes a problem. Okay. So the pillars for inspiration and high performance leaders are as follows. So below are the key foundation. One, they're inspirational leaders as enablers. Someone has said Barack Obama carried everybody with them. You enable other people. It's not just about you. You share a common vision. When you think about Mother Teresa, she's one person who says, there's one of her quotes that I like. And she says, if you can't give anything, just give a smile. So you can imagine this is a person who has a vision that if everybody looks happy, then we're good to go. Humanity, you know, skills in challenging the existing systems and processes. And we can see both of them did that. Encouraging qualities of a leader. Modeling behaviors of leaders. So now let us look at each of these in detail. The first one, who is an inspirational leader as an enabler? This is a person who enables, as enablers, plays a crucial role in creating a culture of collaboration, empowers teams to drive optimum performance, And they do this by encouraging employee involvement in decision making and in developing high performance teams. You enable your team. I know all of us have different leadership skills, but for you to be an inspirational leader, a person that people look towards, people who feel inspired when they come to you, when they come with a challenge to you, there's that inspiration. Do you enable them? And I want us to look at it very simply. Look at a small child. When they come, even a child that you don't know, maybe you go to the mall or wherever you are, and a child is lost and they come to you. If you're very positive to that kid and you're like, so what's your name? Where is your mama? Where is your nanny? That child will give you more information because you're enabling that child to interact with you. So that is one of the key pillars about an inspirational leader. But if a child comes to you and the first thing you tell them, what are you doing? You should be, you rebuke them. Trust me, they'll not come back to you. So as an inspirational leader, one of the key things is to be an enabler. Enable people, whatever it is. Don't assume that this person is pretending, but when somebody comes to you, when your team members come to you, and like we said, we are all leaders in our own way. Always enable. That is one of the key pillars. The other one is sharing a common vision. As a person, once in a while, I always pose a question. We all work for organizations, private, public, entrepreneurs, whereby we are our own bosses. But do you have a vision? Not just as an organization, even you as a person. If I was to ask Irene, my namesake, do you have a vision for yourself as a person? Or do you ride on other people's visions? Because the moment you have a personal vision, then trust me, it becomes very easy to be able to fit in these other people's vision. And that's why you're being told that as an inspirational leader, you should be an expert in articulating the vision, mobilizing the required support and involvement of their teams for the achievement of the ultimate vision. Good example, someone like Barack Obama. For people who followed his campaign trail, his vision was, if I remember, it was like, is it we can? Or there was something like we can, something like that, right? He started it from when he started his first campaign. He drove that vision. And out of that, he was able to achieve it. You as a person, do you have a vision? So one of the key things as an inspirational leader, have your own personal vision, because that is the only way you're able to help other people. You should be able to assess the opportunities and visualize the possibilities, communicate the same with others and gather their support and be able to align the individual goals with the organizational vision. Like, don't allow me to just use like the vision that Obama had, we can, he believed all of us could do it. And I try to imagine as he was trying to formulate his manifesto, his campaign manifesto with his team, I'm sure one of the things that he wanted to do is to align that individual vision that he has as a person, as a son of the nation, and knowing that one, not being like they would say, like being the first black American president, he wanted people to believe in him. So he had first to have that personal vision, then he sells that vision to the people and people buy it in. So what I'm trying to say is that before you share your common vision, ask yourself, what is my vision as Irene? What is my vision as Lucy? What is my vision as Geoff? Have a personal vision. Then from there, share that common vision with the other people. Interact with it. The other pillar is skills in challenging the existing system and processes. As an inspirational leader, you'll always have challenges whereby you see maybe your vision or where you want to be is in conflict. So what you need to do, you have to ensure that you have skills so that, and an extraordinary ability to anticipate the change, analyze the developments or changes in the external environment, capitalize the opportunities by taking proactive activities, and be skilled in experimenting or taking risks. We all want to be inspirational leaders. We want to be high performers, but we don't want to take risks. We don't want to change. We are all in our comfort zone. My dear friends, for you to be a key person to be an inspirational leader, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to understand the environment and adapt accordingly. It is a skill that you have to learn, and I believe that is where we are here today, so that we can see what are these things that we need to do so that we can be able to challenge the existing system and processes for us to be inspirational. Encouraging qualities of a leader. An inspirational leader motivates the teams for achieving excellence in performance by appreciating and recognizing their contributions, sharing the success stories and achievements with the team members, and celebrating the achievement of a common goal. A good leader is one who motivates their team. Once in a while, when things are not going right, say it. When things go good, celebrate. I'm sure most of us have interacted or heard people say, my boss only talks to me when things are not doing well, and they only talk to me to bash me. My boss has never told me thank you. My boss has never even said hi. And I'll give a very good example. I was interacting with some people, I think that was on Monday, and I just made a joke to someone and I said, you know what? There's a song in my mother tongue that allow me to use this example that says that be greeting people. When you meet people, greet people, and especially your neighbors, because you can come and the song is on the context of the village, whereby we have the toilets that are, that we call them the comfortable toilets, the one that you really have to be fit enough to be able to use them. And they say, greet your neighbors, because you may go to the washroom and the toilets fall in there. Your keys fall in the toilet and it's at night. So if you don't talk to your neighbor, then where do you sleep? And when I made that joke, I'll they just say something to someone. Then someone said, yeah, me, I've realized that she never greets people. And she said, no, I always greet people. I said, no, you greet people based on your moods. So I just want you to pause and ask yourself, when you meet people, do you greet people? Because the moment you say hello to someone, that is a first contact that you have. And trust me, just saying hi, how are you? The people who get motivated by that, you raise the spirits of someone. And especially if you are a leader, if you're the team leader, and you come in and say, hi guys, how are you? I mean, there's some vibe that comes, there's some interaction that comes up. You're able to break that ice. But if you come in, you don't say hello to anybody, you get into your office or you get into your seat, then the next time you're getting out is you're going asking for reports. Trust me, it becomes very difficult for you to be able to interact with your team. So let's encourage, let's have these qualities, simple things like saying hi, simple things like asking somebody, how was your evening? How is your morning? I mean, how was your lunch? Just after lunch break, how was your lunch? And when somebody achieves it, let us celebrate achievement. And I say celebrating achievement doesn't have to be monetary, because some people will say, no, we don't have a budget for that. You don't have, but a simple thing like saying, thank you, you made our team shine. Giving an appreciation certificate, you don't need any money to print. Nowadays, you can even do an online certificate. So let's always celebrate achievements, a very key quality for a leader. The next pillar is on modeling behaviors of leaders. This is whereby inspirational leaders do have an extraordinary ability of personifying and representing the organization values before everyone and get the support of others in modeling the common values. Like I said, you have to lead by example. You have your vision, you live by it. You interact your personal vision to the organization vision, and people can see it. I mean, if your level of integrity is high and one of your values is integrity, people will be like, don't talk to Irene. If you don't follow the process, don't even bother. It's a shortcut. Give it your best and you'll do it. But if you're compromising your own personal values, then how do you expect people to trust that you're going to drive the organization value? Yeah, they should be able to cite out success stories or live examples of how others have achieved success by endorsing the common values and following it in their day-to-day behavior. Like I said, we have picked someone like Madre Teresa. She was very kind. She cared about the community. She served other people. You want to be an inspirational leader. Are you a servant leader? Or you're the leader that even if a pencil drops, you have to call somebody 5 miles to come and pick that pencil for you? So interact and live by example. Give success stories. Use the success stories of other leaders to be able to imitate them, to be able to develop yourself to be an inspirational leader. So having described the pillars of inspiration and high performance leaders, now I want to explain the personal skills for inspirational leaders. Which are these skills that you require as a person for you to be an inspirational leader? For you to be like Mother Teresa, for you to be like Barack Obama, to be like Wangari Maathai. I mean, what are these skills that you require? And I think this training is all about this, because we want to be good leaders. We want to be people that tomorrow, when we are seated somewhere and someone is like, tell me of an inspirational leader, and they'll be like, wow, so and so, and you're like, wow, you mean, because I believe all of us, it will be our dream that when people think about great leaders, that your name pops up. So the personal skills that you require.
Sorry, someone's hand is up.
Yes, Jen. Sorry, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think it's very inspiring. I just want us to be cautious about that. I think there's a cultural context as we operate in different offices that we need to be mindful of. So even as we talk, I think there's a cultural context. I could be wrong. It's just something to think about. Over.
Thank you, Jen. I agree with you. There's a cultural context. However, and that's what we're saying, at times there's a challenge. One of the pillars is for you to be able to adapt to those challenging things that you'll come across. And I think that's why in this training to see, in case I'm in this cultural context, that maybe there are things that you're not supposed to do, but there's some things that are very basic, that like saying hello to somebody, that is very basic, like telling somebody, thank you for doing this. You guys did a wonderful job, Look for a way that you can be able to achieve the same. They say there are very different ways of achieving something. So you look for a way that works best for you. Because again, if you ignore that cultural context, you'll become very frustrated. So I agree with you, Jane, yes, but now we are here to ask ourselves, what are we supposed to do to be able to penetrate, to be what we believe in a way that we don't conflict the culture and we don't conflict ourselves, okay? So in terms of that, then we're going to look at the personal skills. And these are the competencies that are required for us to develop in our leadership skills. And like Jane says, I think we're going to see what we can be able to do so that we're able to maneuver in places whereby at times the culture, and it can be a real big challenge. Okay, so one of them, we have the self-awareness. And self-awareness, this is whereby you understand yourself. It means knowing one's internal strengths, preferences, resources, intuitions. Do you understand yourself? Self-awareness. I, as Irene, do I know my internal strengths? There are people, if you tell them no, they get irritated. Am I that person? Do I understand my personality? And I think that is another training on its own. And I believe one of these times we're going to have that kind of training because you understand yourself. Yeah. And by understanding ourselves, we are looking at our emotional awareness, whereby you're able to read your own emotions. You recognize your impact. And this is whereby at times we use our gut sense to get the decisions. It is one ability to be aware of one's feelings and emotions. At times we've heard people say, today I'm not in a good mood. So what makes you say that you're not in a good mood? Today I'm so excited. What makes you to say that? Are you saying it for the purposes of saying it? Or are you saying because one, you've interacted with your emotion and you understand exactly why you're saying that? And you differentiate between them to know what one is feeling and why, and to know what caused the feeling. It means recognizing your emotion and its effect. If today I'm not in a good mood, what kind of effect do you expect? So the self-awareness is whereby, in case today I'm not in a good mood, I know that in case somebody does this, this is the effect that is anticipated. So what do I do to ensure that I don't get that? What do I do to ensure that as much as I'm in a bad mood, I still remain to be that inspirational leader that I need to be? I still remain to be that Madre Teresa that I would want to be. That is what we call the self-awareness, emotional self-awareness. And I think you've had, especially when you're doing the conflict management, when you have two people and conflicting, another person will just, just work on a bad day. It was not my day. Everything was going wrong. Yes, things were going wrong, but how did you manage those emotions? So that is what to talk when you say about self-awareness, emotional self-awareness. Know your emotions, know how to track them, know how to mentor them, know how to mentor those emotional awareness, especially the negative ones. Even the good ones, they say at times, when you're so happy, you promise so many things. You can come and you're very excited, you're promising everybody you're going to give them an increment. You're promising your team, you're going to, whatever has been stuck, you're going to do all those great things because you're excited. So you have to manage your emotions so that they don't work against you. Accurate self-assessment. This is whereby we're looking at knowing your strengths and their limits. It means driving on an open, honest, compassionate feedback about one's strengths and limits. When I'm happy, this is how I behave. Do you assess yourself well? And I always tell people, and you realize as we continue the training, there are different ways of assessing yourself. And it is a human nature. It's human that if you ask Irene, if you ask me who I am, we tend to say the good things about ourselves. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. But very few people want to hear about the negative things. Very few people will say, when I'm mad, I get annoyed very easily. Most people are like, no, I'm well, I'm this. And you'll find in most interviews, when you ask somebody, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? Some people will always be shy when they're talking about their weaknesses. However, we're encouraged to take advantage of our weaknesses because of our weaknesses are the ones that are going to build us. Because we don't fail because of our strengths. In most cases, we don't become inspirational leaders because of our strengths, but we fail to become inspirational leaders because of our weaknesses. Why do I say that? Because if my weakness is that I have a bad temper, I'll get a bad temper, I'll find things are not working, and I will harass everybody. Trust me. Unfortunately, human beings are good at remembering the bad things. They hardly remember the good things. So you see that weakness, if you didn't assess yourself well to know that this is my weakness and this is how it can stop me from becoming a good leader or becoming an inspirational leader, if you don't work on it, then it is recipe for failure. So my appeal is that let's not get embarrassed about our weaknesses. Let's not get shy of discussing them. Let's discuss them, and especially with people who have the goodwill. People, all of us are encouraged to have mentors. When you go for your mentorship meetings, don't just discuss about the good things. Discuss about the things that you feel, I need some help. I feel at times I talk too much, I want to summarize. What do I do? Talk about those weaknesses. Okay? Self-confidence. What is self-confidence? This is a strong and sound sense of one's self-worth and capabilities. It means believing in one's capabilities. Do you believe in yourself? To be an inspirational leader, key is to believe in yourself. Like Barack Obama said, he believed he could. But I'm sure the people said, oh, please, let's see how far he'll go. How can Americans get a Black American? Never. I'm sure there are those people, I call them haters. You tell them, I want to do this. They're like, oh, no, please. You're just too ambitious. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your vision? That is what we call self-confidence, whereby you're talking to a wall and you believe that this wall is going to break. However, also be realistic in the kind of vision that you have. But it's very important to have self-confidence. And like we are told at times, when you have very good self-confidence, okay, allow me to use this as a joke, and I just hope I don't want to cause anybody's feelings, but they say at times, when you see the preachers preach, they preach with so much confidence and they quote verses. And someone made a joke and said, One time they were very keen in a sermon, and like preachers will quote like maybe Mark 16 or whichever verse they're going to quote, and they say it. And since they say it with so much confidence, everybody believes them. But this person proved the pastor wrong. He's like, no, you're saying whatever the Bible is saying differently. But because we're so confident about it, people believe in it. So the same to us. When you're confident about something, I'm not saying that you lie, you become very confident in lying. But at times when you believe in something that you believe in, and it is in you, the confidence in you will attract people to you. So as an inspirational leader, one of our personal skills is to be confident of yourself. Self-management, another key skill. How do you manage yourself? And under self-management, we have the emotional self-control, transparency, adaptability, achievement orientation, initiative, and optimism. How is your state? How is your impulse, the resources? In terms of the emotional self-control, I think some of these have, as I'm interacting, I'm mentioning about them. So this will just be of the past by. Let me admit somebody. Emotional self-control. It means keeping disruptive emotions and impulses under control. I can't re-emphasize this. When my tempers are high, I don't want to see anybody with a red skirt or anybody in red. I'm sure maybe you've had people say, when I see red, it's just, So as a good leader, you need to put that under control. I'm sorry, but it is you. That is your problem. It is not the problem of the other people. That is why it's called personal leadership. Okay? Transparency. Are you transparent? This means displaying honesty, high level of integrity, trustworthiness, and acting within your values. Like I said, if you have a vision, it all begins with you. What are your values as a person? What do people take you to be? You talk about integrity, yet you're the first person to compromise. You're the first person to be non-compliance in everything that is set. Are you transparent? Because if you're not transparent with yourself, then how can you be transparent as a leader leading other people? Transparency. The other one is adaptability. How do you adapt? It means demonstrating flexibility in adapting to changing situations or overcoming obstacles. Jen talked about a culture context. How is your culture? Are you adaptable? You're the person who keeps on complaining. Yes, this is what our organization culture is like this. But you keep on complaining. You keep on saying, where I worked before, we used to do things like this. I've seen it, adapt and make the best of where you are. Because other people have come and made it. Why not you? Adapt with the changing environment. Adapt with the culture. Look for ways and means to ensure that whatever your vision is, whatever your values are, they're not compromised by the culture. Because I believe whichever culture it is, there is some positivity in it. If there's some negative elements of the culture, as an inspirational leader, it is your responsibility to look for ways and means to be able to change that culture, to be an accommodative culture for everyone. Achievement orientation. Do you have the drive to improve performance, to meet inner standards of excellency and striving to improve a standard of excellency? Do you believe in achievement? Do you believe that everybody in your team, if you're a team leader, has something positive to offer? Or you are a leader who believes you have a team of 5 people. However, you believe that only one person is capable. It's unfortunate that we're told high performance tend to be overworked at workplaces. But if you're a team leader and you realize that one person is being overworked, then you as a team leader, you as a leader who wants to be inspirational, you're failing. Because you'll only be inspiring one person, and actually you're not even inspiring them, because if anything, they're feeling like you're overworking them. So every time they see you, they even want to run away because they're like, oh my goodness, why can't they give that to Irene? Why can't they give that to Jane? Why can't they give that to Lucy? So you're not inspiring them in any way. And what you're doing to the other team members is you're showing them that it's only Irene who can do it. The rest of us are irrelevant. We can't do it. We're not good enough. So how do you inspire such a team? An inspirational leader is one who believes that everybody has the element of being able to achieve. Because one, you've set a standard of excellency. You've mentored, you've coached, you've understood your team. Okay? The other skill is on initiative. This is whereby you need to be ready to act and seize opportunities as they come. Hence, when this opportunity comes, you're ready to act. You don't wait for the opportunity to come. You ask yourself, they say the world nowadays is moving too fast. It doesn't wait for anyone. So an opportunity comes and you seize it. I always tell people, as an inspirational leader, and if you want to make it in leadership, at times you go to these meetings and somebody maybe will say, someone who's seen is like, I want to delegate Irene to be the chair of that committee. And the first thing that comes to your mind is like, no, I think I cannot be able to do that. What are you doing? You are killing your potential. Never say no to anything that is adding value to you, unless you're very clear about it. Because at times, there's that element of fear. We feel like I'll not achieve it. But if that person looks at you and sees you can achieve, why are you undermining yourself? Say yes. Then after that, look, seize the opportunity. Then after that, ask yourself, how am I going to achieve it? We've seen incidences, like even in our country, in our previous president. I think there's some incidences whereby there's a story that came I think I saw it on TV one time, about a lady who was found by the president. I think they were in the garden or something, they were farming tea. And they even took the photo with the president, but they didn't know it was a president until the photo started doing rounds on social media. So you can imagine the kind of opportunity that those ladies had. But just because of that, at least just another person who wants to take a photo with us and you move on. See, I'm sure if that, to play it back, is like if that opportunity came back, this is a president talking to me, taking a photo with me, taking a selfie with me. Seize the opportunities. So to be an inspirational leader is whereby any opportunity that comes, take advantage of it, look at how much you can be able to use it to be able to build on your vision. And I want to use the example of Mother Teresa. A story is told, there's a time when she went to, I think she went to Rome, to the Catholics, where we have the Pope. And her agenda was about people, humanity, you know? Because here you are, you with the Pope. And you know this person, the kind of following that they command. So you don't go and you start talking about things that are irrelevant. You go there and you start talking about humanity, because that is a vision that you want to drive. So as an inspirational leader, when you get these opportunities, seize them. Be ready to act on them. The other one is being optimistic. This is whereby you see the upside down of events and persistent in pursuing goals despite the obstacles or the setbacks. And this is where we're told, when you're looking at a glass, do you say it's half empty or it's half full? And I'm sure most people hear about it, half empty, half full. Why do people say that? Maybe I would ask somebody, I want to pose that question. Why do people say the glass is half empty or the glass is half full? Who do want to give us or to interpret that for us? I open it up. Lucy, maybe you can tell us what you think about that. Why do people say that? The glass is half full. Lucy, are we together? Okay, Lucy maybe is not.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry.
It's okay, Lucy. Go ahead.
Okay, so my thinking is that
Others will see the glass as half full, while others will see it as half empty. And basically because of it's just how you view, is it situations as a person. And so the people who are optimistic will always see it as a full, because they have, I'd say, a positive inclination in their thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lucy. You're very right. And also to echo that is Lillian, Yamo, thank you, who says on the chat that positive thinkers say half full. Yeah, you look at the positive about it. Don't look at half empty, because empty, it's like, you're already giving up. So it's very important for us to be positive thinkers. And like Lillian and Lucy says, let's be positive and be optimistic. So then now we go to our next objective for this training, which is explaining the social skills, because we also require the social skills. And in terms of the social skills that will help us in developing our leadership or inspirational leadership skills, we look at the social awareness, we look at the relationship management, and we're going to look at each of them in details. And we start with the social awareness. In the social awareness, we're looking at the empathy, organizational awareness, and service orientation. Can see my screen on your side is not moving. So on social awareness, we're looking at being aware of our feelings, needs, concerns, and the skills that we require. Like I said, the empathy, organizational awareness, service orientation. And empathy, what is empathy? Empathy means sensing others' emotions, understanding their perspectives, taking active interest in their concerns. Hence, empathy means fellow feeling and understanding and entering into another's feelings. And one of the confusion that most of us have is that we confuse empathy and sympathy. However, for the social skills, you're called to be empathetic. You empathize, whereby you feel that person. You understand their perspective. You take active interest in their concerns, whereby you say you put yourself into that person's shoes. So an inspirational leader, that is a very key social skill, because that is the only way you're going to be able to help people. You're going to have a positive impact onto that other person. And most of us at times are very sympathetic. And whereas I may not
Madam, we can't hear you.
She may have lost connection. Is it me?
Hi, good people.
Hi.
You can hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, the power went off, so I was trying to reconnect. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Or someone else has also gotten some power blackout somewhere. So let me try and get back to where we are. So kindly just give me a few minutes, please. I seek your understanding. Technology. So hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, yes, we.
Thank you.
Mwalimu, we lost you.
Yes, I'm back. I got some power blackout. The power went off, so I was trying to reconnect. I'm sorry for that. And we're back now. And we were at.
Next time, Mwalimu, you are not there. I suggest that Jane Wanjohi, who is also a co-host. Jane Wanjohi, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is Dan. Next time Mwalimu is away, you take over. Assisted by Eileen M. Kideka and Ruth Kamocho. All right?
Okay, thank you.
We are all peers. So, yeah, thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan, for that. And for my co-facilitators, kindly, in case of anything, we are a team, so take over, but I pray that nothing will go wrong. So we were at, who can remind us where we are? Let me see if you're together.
Empathy.
Empathy, right?
We were at empathy. Yeah.
We're discussing empathy.
Thank you very much. Can see we are together. So in terms of the empathy, like I said earlier, most of us tend to confuse it with being sympathetic. And just as a writer is the difference between the two, I'm not able to go into details, is by when you're sympathetic, when you have this woye effect, someone's like, "Wait, I'm sorry." No, instead of building that person, you're making them even feel like for real things are bad. However, being empathetic is being on the other side of it, whereby as much you're feeling this person, and what you want to achieve is to bring the best out of them, to give them a sense of hope, not a sense of failure, not a sense of things are really getting bad. So we are called to be empathetic. We also need to be aware of our organization. This means whereby we understand and reading the current decision networks, politics at the organization level. Yeah, it means understanding a group emotion currents and power relations. Very important. Do you understand your organization? Jen talked about the culture context. Do you understand it? Or you have these wonderful ideas, but you know very well you cannot get through. You cannot break through because one, in that culture, it's unheard of. As much as it's acceptable in another place, it's not acceptable. So understand your organization. Understand the norms. You're told an organization is like a person. So understand the whole of that organization. Understand its visions, its values, where it wants to be, And that way you're going to be able to inspire people because one, you're driving that vision. But in case you don't understand, then you conflict with the organization. And what will be like, these people don't even if I give them my good ideas, they don't buy in. And you'll get frustrated because you come up with this wonderful idea. However, everybody tends to not even understand what you're talking about. It's because you don't understand. So be aware of the people you're talking to. Be aware of the right people to talk to. Understand the structure. And understand both structures. You know, you're told in organizations, in some organizations, we have the formal structures and the informal structures. Understand them. That is what it means by having an organization awareness. Service orientation. I spoke about being a servant leader. You analyze, recognize, and meet followers, clients, or customers' needs. Are you service oriented? Do you believe that you're there to give service? And I want to give an example about it's a pillar in one of the organizations that I interacted with. And I found it to be very nice, whereby they say you come to work, need, want, not need, you know? And I thought that was very good because I was saying want, not need. You come to work because you want to come to work, not because you need to come to work. So you give service because you want to give service, not because you need to give service. And what is the difference? When you need to give something, or when you need to give that service, or when you need to work, go to work, you're going to work because you want to pay your bills. You're going to work because you just have to go. But when you want, it is coming out naturally. You're excited. You have the self-motivation. So as you serve people, try and look for that want in serving people, because that way you become inspirational, because one, you're already self-inspired. Relationship management. How do you manage yourself? How is your relationship? Including the desirable responses. How do you expect people to respond to you? And the skills are as highlighted below. We have developing others, inspirational leadership, change catalyst, influence, conflict management, teamwork, and collaboration. In developing others, this means sensing others' development needs and having a look at their abilities through constructive feedback and proper guidance. As an inspirational leader, you need to have this ability to be able to give constructive feedback, because that's the only way you're going to develop people. And like I said earlier, we're very good at giving positive feedback. But if you keep on telling me, I'm so good, it is good, I'm happy, but it does not develop me in any way. I need to hear those areas of improvement, because that is the only way I'm going to get better. So what are your mechanisms of giving feedback and any other kind of feedback? Maybe negative feedback, feedback that is not good feedback. What are your capabilities? Are you able to do that? Because that is the only way you're going to develop somebody. If somebody is making a report, you need a report for a certain presentation, and they give you a report that you can't even enter with it into a meeting, and you work over it again. Do you tell that employee, because they did it with the best that they could, do you give them feedback that, yes, you did this report? Of course, start by appreciating it. I love the report. You gave it your very best. That is nice. However, I think we can make it better, you know? Encouraging, give feedback in an encouraging way, because that is the only way you develop people. Because people want to be developed. You've heard people say, I'm who I am because of Irene. As you sit in this class, how many people can authoritatively say they are who they are because of you? I want you to just pause and ask yourself, how many people will say, I am whom I am because of you? And if none comes up, none pops up, it is a process. You get in there. And that is why we are here, to see what we can do. So people want to be developed. And everybody who grows and is like, because I grew because of Irene, because of so and so, they feel, wow, you had an impact in my life. There's someone who is doing a research, and we really wish them all the best. I love reading research papers. And you always find that they'll have some dedication to a certain person because they help them do what they are. They help them in their research. So ask yourself, as an inspirational leader, who have you, or who can talk something about what you did in terms of developing them. Inspirational leadership. Do you inspire people? Do you motivate people? Do you get individuals and groups with a compelling vision? When you stand in front of that group, of that team that you supervise, even in front of your own self, because you said at the end of the day, you're also a leader in yourself. You are a leader to yourself. And I tell people, all of us want to be CEOs. So in case you've never gotten to that level of being that CEO, you are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of the things that you do. So do you inspire yourself as a CEO, as a leader of your own self? Or when you talk about yourself, you're just talking negative things about yourself. I'm too big, I'm too fat. I mean, are you inspiring yourself or you're discouraging yourself? Because charity begins at home. If you're not able to inspire yourself, then how are you going to inspire other people? Change catalyst. This means initiating or managing change and leading in a new direction. They say one of the biggest challenges of leadership is change management, and especially when you want to change something. We talked about a culture. You can have a culture that you feel this culture is not heading anywhere. How do you change it? And we have the 3 key things about change. Unfreeze, do what you have to do, and then freeze it back. The unfreezing bit of it, it's not easy. But how do you manage it as a leader? Do you let people understand what you're doing? Or you just go, you wake up one day and you say, from tomorrow, no memos, no written this. I mean, really? Nobody's going to take it in. People will be like, what's wrong with this lady? Is she crazy? And because you're not aware, you know that self-awareness, they'll be like, you see her craziness, you see her madness. You know, she just wakes up one morning and thinks things. If you have a very outgoing, and especially you have this young generation, trust me, they'll tell you everything. And they tell you, you know what, madam? Rome was not made in a day. Can you give us 2 or 3 days to work on it? And for you as a leader, you feel, oh my goodness, this lady or this young man is talking to me like, do they know who I am? Just because you don't have a good skill in terms of change catalyst. Change is a process. Understand the process, because they say nothing is impossible, but it's how you go around it. Okay? So when you're doing a new change, you want to have a new, do it in such a way that everybody buys it in and you move together as a group. Influence. What is your influence? It means having an impact on others and using a range of effective tactics for persuasion. How do you influence people in case you want to do something? I'm sure all of us are in groups or have a circle of friends. And in case you want to do something, there's always that one person that you know, in case maybe you want to go to visit, you want to go for a trip, you want to do anything, or even in the office, you want to have a project. There's one person that you know, in case you make them the head of that project, definitely it's going to work. Why? Because they have good influence. Do you have influence as a team leader? Do you impact others when you want to persuade them to do something? Or you will talk and talk and talk and even want to cry because nobody seems to be hearing what you're saying. You tell them 3, 4, 5 times, nothing happens. You bang tables, nothing happens. What is your influence on others? And it's very simple. Be empathetic, understand people, put yourself into their shoes. In case I want to change this, how would I want to be influenced as Irene? And use that, you know. But then they say, like, if you're a supervisor, if you're a leader, I had some people say, some people demand for respect. You either demand for respect or you earn respect. So for you to have positive influence, then earn respect. And you also earn their influence. Don't force it. Let it be. Okay. Conflict management. How do you manage conflict? How do you negotiate to resolve disagreements? As an inspirational leader, do you do it in an objective way or you do it in a very subjective way? Irene is my friend. So whatever it is, I'll ensure that it works for her. And it's very clear that Irene is on the wrong. How do you manage conflict? Or do you let it be? As an inspirational leader, you have a team,
you have people, there's a conflict, and you just ignore it. And you see what happens when you don't manage that conflict well, then you sit in a time bomb. One day someone is like, you know, even last time I didn't do this, you didn't do this. Then how do you convince that person? So always ensure that you manage conflicts in the most objective way and in the way that all parties feel that for real fairness and transparency was not compromised. Teamwork and collaboration. It means creating group synergy in pursuing collective goals. It means cultivating and maintaining a web of relationship that foster cooperation and team building. Are you a team player? Or for you, you're like, me, allow me to use this thing. So me, mambo ya watu, you know, people say, me, I don't like groups. I don't like, I don't like, you know, people want to do something. There's a team activity. You're like, me, I don't, you know. You want to disengage yourself from the team. We're told a good team is built of different personalities. Even if you don't like it, as a good team player, like it, love it, participate. You don't have to be loud to be a team player. You can be part of that team and participating and adding value by giving the best that you can. So don't say that, me, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like so-and-so, I don't like, you know, be a good team player. If there's an activity that the whole team is being engaged in it, have the self-motivation to be part of it. Collaborate with other people. Don't be the person that when people are discussing, they're like, gosh, I just hope Irene will buy into this idea. That people go and meet, they first discuss an issue, then now they start asking, how are we going to convince Irene for her to collaborate with this idea? Yeah? So how do you manage it? How do you manage your relationship? Do you collaborate with others? Because if you don't collaborate with others, today it will be this person with an idea. What about the day you have an idea? Who will collaborate with you? And that's the day you'll say, I call people, you start WhatsApp groups, nobody even wants to participate. You put people on group, they are all left in. Why? Because maybe ask yourself a question. Maybe you don't collaborate with others. You've been in groups whereby people say, now how comes when it was so-and-so time, everybody participated? We have this thing that we have a certain group, or I'll say an organization, whereby we are a team of around 7 people. And one of the things that I've loved about what our chair does is that he will ensure that every time we have a meeting, he does not chair the meeting. The chairmanship is rotational. So if you chair this time, you nominate the person to chair the next meeting. And I remember one time we're just doing like a feedback session after we'd done the rounds, and the chair asked us to just give ourselves a rating in terms of how we chaired the meetings, and to also comment on what we felt. And I remember one person said that when they chaired, they felt like people were not responding. They were asking questions and people were not answering. And one person made a joke and said, oh, I don't want to say the name of the person. And they said, oh, can you even say that? You don't even talk in other people's meetings. So why do you expect us to talk in your meeting? I mean, the same thing. If you don't collaborate with people, then how do you expect them to collaborate with you when you need them? So for proper relation management, as a social skills, let's ensure that we embrace these 6 skills, and I'm sure we're going to hack it up. So now this is a teaser, this is a question. And I want to just ask anyone to answer, whereby we are saying change catalyst is a dash competence. So who wants to give it a try?
Relationship management.
Why do you think it's a relationship management?
Oh, sorry. I should have thought first. Well, yes, because it involves other people. And in order to implement the change, you have also to manage the relationship so that they can buy in the change that you are trying to implement.
Thank you. Anybody else who thinks otherwise? Or do you want to add to that? So we go by relationship management. Everybody agrees with that? Sorry, can't hear you.
I agree with what has been said by our colleague, but I also want to bring another element. I don't know whether this works, but when you're speaking about change catalyst, you said it's about unfreezing, making the change, and then freezing. So in that process of implementing the change, there will be impacts which might affect other people, other processes, and so you have then to be able to manage the relationships as you go along. Just my thoughts.
Great thoughts. I agree with you. So in all that, yes, please, someone is talking before I talk.
I was just wondering if in the end we need all these self-awareness, self-management, social and relationship.
Sorry, I didn't get you right.
I'm saying, I was just wondering if in the end, to be a good change catalyst, one needs all these that are on the list: social awareness, relationship management, self-management, self-awareness.
I agree. Rightly, we all need all those: social awareness, self-management, and
self-awareness.
Self-awareness and social awareness and self-management, right? And you agree with me in case you get them right.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Because in order for change to happen, you need to be ready for the same change yourself, to lead that change. So you need that self-awareness, self-management, to be able to influence, to be able to lead a change. You need to be able to adapt to others. So you need the social awareness, and the same as with the relationship management. Anyway, just a thought, although the first thought I had, because we just had a discussion, so I put it in the relationship management, but in the end, probably one needs all these elements for the change to succeed.
I agree with you that we all need all this. However, from our discussion, we can say that if you're very well social aware of what you're doing, then it will ensure that your relationship management will be good. So like the social awareness, self-management, and self-awareness to some extent can be able to fit into the relationship management.
Relationship. Okay, yeah.
Are we in agreement with that?
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Because if I'm good in my social, then my relationship is good. If I'm able to manage myself, my relationship with other people will be good. If I'm aware of myself, my relationship with people will be good. Because if I'm not aware with myself, people will be like, she's just coming shouting and shouting and shouting, So that affects my relationship management.
So the relationship management captures all other three. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So thank you, guys. You're right. It's relationship management. It's a competence. And like we all say, the other three kind of fit into the relationship management. So now we go to the fourth objective. And this is whereby we're going to explain the techniques of self-assessment for leadership skills. This is whereby now we're asking about ourselves. And before I get to this, I want us to have, I believe, I don't know where you are, but where I am, I have a notebook and a pen. I have a pencil. Someone asked me why I like operating with pencils. I said the times I like writing in pencils so that what does not excite me, I'm able to easily delete, because we learn every day. At times when you do something on a pen, it's very permanent. So I believe all of us have a pen and a paper, right? Am I right on that? And if you don't, kindly get a pen and a paper, because I want us to do some exercise. And this will inform our next two objectives, that's the techniques of self-assessment and how to develop a leadership plan. So in terms of the techniques, I want us to take a pause and ask ourselves, based on the skills that we've talked about, if you're to assess yourself as a leader, how do you rate yourself? In terms of an inspirational leader, someone who has an impact on others, someone who develops others, someone who has excellent relationship management, understands themselves, how do you rate yourself? Yeah, these are personal assessment. And I'm also doing it. So all of us are doing it.
So the rating is
1
what
to
is
5.
the range?
Let's do 1 to 5.
Okay.
1 being the least, 5 being the best. Okay. Whatever, however you've rated yourself, that is you as yourself. And I do hope you've opened a blank page, not a page that has a lot of writing. So at least you're clear, because you're starting at, we want to be inspirational leaders, right? So we want to start from a fresh page. So kindly ensure that the page that you've written is a clean page. So once you've rated yourself, I'm sure all of us would want to be at 5. I'll not say what I've rated myself. I don't want us to discuss what we've rated. Down there, I would want you to just write your inspirational leader. Who is your role model? We got so many role models from, we had Barack Obama, we had Martin Luther King, we had Wangari Maathai, Barack Obama, and the list is endless. So I want you as a person to write the person who inspires you as a leader. The person that if today you're to be asked, you'd want to be like them. So kindly write the name. Yep. You can write 1 or 2. You've done that. So has everybody completed that exercise? I believe so. And like I said, I'm also doing the same. Then with that, and with a blank page, I want to explain the techniques of self-assessment for leadership skills. So as you're reflecting on your rating, as you're reflecting on the person that you've listed down, look inside yourself and ask yourselves, what can I do? If I've rated myself 2, what can I do to be there? Number 5, and be the person that I'd want to be. And I start by saying that to be an effective leader, you should have a perfect self-assessment of your strengths and weaknesses. So I don't know what criteria you used to rate yourself. Assume you gave yourself a 3 or 4 or a 5. I don't know which criteria you used. However, now I want to give you the criteria that will help you to get the proper 3, to get the proper 4, to get the proper 1, because maybe you may be at 1. And that is not a bad thing, because we're all on a growth curve in everything that you do. Even if you're at 5, you want to be able to do is 1, reflective journaling, having a journal. Do you have a journal to reflect on your strengths and your weaknesses? And my dear colleagues, I want to seek that as we go through these 2 last sessions, this is what is going to help us to be able to become the inspirational leaders that we want, because this is whereby we're working on ourselves now. Whatever I was doing earlier was more of the skills, you need to be this, but now here we're reflecting. It is me, it is Irene. And like I said earlier, as we interact, I'm also learning. We learn every day. So do you have a journal? So ask yourself, do you have a journal? And in this journal, do you write about your strengths and your weaknesses? Yeah, so a journal is one of the things that will help you in terms of being able to assess yourself. The checklist, survey method for assessment. Yep. Then we have something that we call the 360 degrees feedback for assessment. And I want us to look at this, each one of these in details. When you talk about a journal, what are we talking about? This means, or it starts with identifying and recording the learning experiences at work in a journal. And I want to add at work and in your life. Because we talk about life balance. And we said in leadership, it's not just about if you also want to be a leader, a personal leader. Do you record the experiences that you learn? We encourage that every day, if possible, have a journal, write it down. Look at your how your day was. Yep. You identify the things that went right and the things that didn't go right. And from there, you're able to ask yourself, whatever didn't go right, what went wrong? Did I have a contribution? Was my contribution positive or otherwise? And by you reflecting, you're able to pop up your strengths and you're able to pop up your weaknesses, or what nowadays we call area of improvement. Maybe I was in a meeting when I was given some negative feedback or feedback that was not positive, I overreacted. I became very defensive. And by me being defensive, I was not able to get the facts of what was being told to me. That is a reflection. And the question you'll be asking yourself is that tomorrow, in case I'm given that kind of feedback, what am I going to do to ensure that I don't lose the points that will help me to become a better person? And you can only do that by having a journal. Very important. I don't know how many of us have journals, but it's a very important way of trying to reflect on us. We question ourselves on the issues that revolve around the leadership experiences, like why and where do you think certain things happen the way? Like I said in a meeting. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we draw a conclusion from the learning experience and identify the potential, the possible areas of a development or changes in future. I know what I'm going to do. Next time, no, I can't. Because you say no, then you realize, oh my goodness, it was so easy. I should have just said yes. And you can't go back and start saying, so that is what reflection is all about. So next time, you'll be able to tell yourself, next time I'm asked something, I will pause before I'm able to say yes or no. Or I will even say, give me some time to think about it. You see that you've not said a yes or no. Okay. The next item is the checklist and survey methods for assessment. Checklists and surveys help in improving our self-awareness related to emotional competences, relationship skills, and a lot of other areas like your level of enthusiasm, involvement, and clarity of direction. Clarity of direction. Checklists. It doesn't hurt. You can formulate your own checklist and you're asking yourself that I need to know about my leadership skills. I want to assess my personal strengths. Yeah. So you have a checklist against some specific parameters. Yep. So in this is whereby we're saying that survey stages during which the checklist of the leadership competencies are compiled, and you assess the personal strengths and areas which require improvements by analyzing the personally filled up surveys against various parameters. So I'm able to see what people are talking about me. And that way I'm able to build and work on the areas that I need to improve. And based on that, I'm able to monitor. People said, I overreact on these issues. In meetings, I don't participate. So what am I doing to change? Am I participating? And I'll be monitoring, yes, in that other meeting, I said this. Oh, yes. In this other meeting, this happened. In this other meeting, I actually made a presentation. So I'm able to monitor my progression, because all of us want to look at a growth curve. And even at the point that we reach the apex, we want to grow to the next level. Because in leadership, you never get to the highest level. People talk about the self-actualization. So until you get to that self-actualization, and even at that point of self-actualization, there's still things that you feel as a self-actualized person, what can I do to sustain what I have achieved? So you'll always be aspiring to be good, and better to the best that you can until you get to eternity, or you get face to face with your maker and you're like, oh my goodness, I gave you the very best. This is my graph. So you need to continue monitoring that growth and the progress. Okay. The other one is on the 360-degree feedback for assessment. I know sometimes back, I'm sure most of us were in that training. We did a 360 feedback training, very, very effective training. And the feedback that we've gotten is that most people have really benefited from this training, whereby you get a 360, everybody around you. Draw a circle around yourself. A circle around yourself as I read. And anything that touches to you, maybe your family, your colleagues, your friends, everybody is able to undertake an assessment on you. And you get a comprehensive view regarding how you're perceived as a leader by others. And this helps because it improves the understanding about your strengths and your weaknesses as a leader. And like I keep on saying, and I reemphasize, my dear colleagues, celebrate when people tell you about your weaknesses or your areas of improvement, because those are your opportunities. Because the more people tell you about your strengths, you're a good leader, you know, trust me, the more you put more effort on your strengths without taking care of your strengths, then those strengths will be recipe of your downfall as a leader. Because one, if you concentrate so much on your strengths, you bring in some elements like pride, arrogance, that I'm the best in this. You know, you start imagining that people don't even use their brains. I think you've seen some people believe, I mean, other people is like, don't you have a mind? Don't you? I mean, so if you concentrate so much on your strengths, then the humane, the humbleness in you as a leader, to some extent, is diluted. Because you believe that you're the best and nothing but the best. So appreciate the feedback that you get. And that you can be able to do that by embracing the 360 feedback for assessment. Let people assess you. Celebrate it when they assess you. Celebrate your identity, those things that you feel are not very positive. And you can do this in a confidential way. This is whereby you have a survey that comprises of various questions, and they'll be completed by your peers, your superiors, and also the reporting authorities in your office. Let people evaluate you. In some organizations that are implementing the 360 degrees framework, research has shown that as much as it gets a lot of opposition, especially from the top leadership, because most of them don't want to hear these things that about this an area that you want to improve. Organizations that have embraced it and embrace it positively, the results are awesome. The teamwork is great. The growth in terms of personalities is commendable. So let's embrace it, even as a person, embrace it in case you would want to be a good inspirational leader, because that is the only way you're going to know areas that you need to improve on. The rating and the feedback, the members involved in the survey are requested to rate the skills and provide feedback in a written format. Why written is because it gives you a point of reference. People may have said, an area that I need to improve, and I want to look at how many out of the 5 people that I gave, what do they think? What is consistent? Of course, we know some of these questionnaires, there'll always be some biasness, but how do you moderate so that you're able to know this is exactly what I need to work on? You need to have a written thing that you can interact with, that you can look at, you can make reference to. Then have the results analyzed and compared with the subject.
Irene?
Yes, please.
Excuse me, I think there's a question in the chat about checklist.
Okay, let me have a look at it. Thank you so much. Is a checklist done by self or by third party? Thank you so much for this question, KPRL. That is how you registered. At the checklist, when you talk about the checklist, let me go to the slide. On the checklist can have 2 ways of looking at it. Have a checklist. We talked about you evaluating yourself. When you're evaluating yourself, you'll have a checklist based on the competencies that you'd want. Like I said in our assignment, I have rated myself as Irene. Assume I've rated myself 4. And the leader that I would want to inspire to be is, let's pick on Barack Obama or Mother Teresa. We said those are the 2 people that you're going to be using in terms of our references today. What are these attributes that we can talk about Barack Obama? Yep. 1, we can say he was a unique case, a Black American president. So beating the odds to be who he is. He was a charismatic leader. What else can we add about Barack Obama? Anybody else who can say something about Barack Obama, the third one, so that we can look at the checklist?
He was an eloquent speaker. I don't know.
Eloquent speaker. Mother Teresa, we said she was humble, service to community. What else can we talk about Mother Teresa?
Dedicated.
Dedication. Thank you. So let's look at those 3. So in terms, I'm formulating a checklist on Irene. Yeah, inspirational. Someone has talked about inspirational on Barack Obama. Yes, true, very inspirational. And the determination. So on my checklist,
Confident.
I'm saying confident, sure. I want to be like Barack Obama. but my eloquence, my communication skills have an issue. Yep. I'm more determined. My determination, I start something, I have so much psych, I'm so determined. I want to be this, I want to complete my research, I want to complete this. But after 2-3 days, after I go and talk to 3 people and they're like, your research questionnaire is too complicated. I'm like, I don't think I'm getting this research. And my determination is discouraged. So on my checklist, I'll be asking myself, at a rating of 1 to 5, where am I? So I'll give myself 2. Then this same checklist, I'll now give it to my peers or people I would want to rate me. Okay? So a checklist can be done by myself, because like we said, it's good for you to first understand yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, then what other people will tell you, you'll be like, I want a new name. These ones they're just being biased towards me. So it's good to first have a self-assessment, then after that, involve the third party. And that's why you find even in the performance appraisals that we undertake in our offices, organizations that have embraced a good performance management system, when they're undertaking their annual or their biannual or based on the quarters or how you undertake your performance appraisals, they first start with a self-assessment. You're first told to assess yourself, then after that, you're assessed by your supervisor, or in case you have 360 feedback system, then you're assessed by the third parties. So answer to the question is that you can do the checklist by yourself or by the third party. So both, it's a blended. For it to work best, it's good to blend it. And like we said, self-awareness is very critical. You need to be aware of yourself. So that even as people are coming to say, by the way, you're not humble. Already, you're like, hey, by the way, when I try to evaluate myself, I think I see there's like an element of lack of humbleness in me, okay? So I hope I've responded to that question accordingly. And we are all clear that yes, the checklist can be done, can be blended, both by yourself and the third party. We're good to go? So we're discussing the 360 feedback. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciated. So on the 360, this is where we were. And like we said, that one is whereby it involves the completion of a confidential survey, the rating and the feedback, and the results are analyzed and compared with the subject. Then finally, I want to pose a question to us. Another question just to tease us up. And this is whereby we are asking, which of the following is a technique that improves understanding about one's strengths and weaknesses as a leader? We have the checklist and survey. We have reflective journaling, 360-degree feedback, and RACI matrix. So which one do you think is a technique that will help us understand our strengths and weaknesses? Over to you, people. Which of the three will enable us to understand clearly our strengths and weaknesses? Checklists and surveys, reflective journaling, 360-degree feedback. Which of the three? Anybody wants to answer?
screen is showing the answer. Could you
Yes, I'm
show
giving.
us the
I'm giving you the
screen?
leakage.
Oh,
That's a leakage.
what were the choices?
I think guys are so quiet. So I thought of giving you the leakage of the exam. Because I think we're discussing the 360-degree feedback. So I thought, let me give that to you. Oh yes, actually somebody had ready. Daniel, thank you so much. Aha, lovely. Abigail, thank you. I can see people are, let's engage on the chat. It's exciting to read the chats. Yes, so yes, the 360-degree is the best way because it has everything. It encompasses the checklist because it has a checklist, the survey, because if you did a self-survey, I mean a self-reflection in your journal, then the 360 is a good technique because it will help improve and understand about you as a person, your strengths and your weaknesses as a leader. And I believe we are on it together. So now after that, I want us to go to our last objective, which is leadership development plan. Yep. Allow me my screen on this side. Okay. And we're asking ourselves, what is a leadership development plan? And this comes by, once you've sat down, you've had your self-assessment. So what plan do you put in place? Because you're told if you don't plan to succeed, then you're planning to fail. So now we're putting in place, I'm sure we still have a blank page, and this is now going to help us to put in place a development plan. We've seen our areas that require improvement. So what plan do we put in place to be able to be those good leaders that we aspire to be? Because you're told a good leader is one who knows how to change your behavior. And by changing our behavior, we develop our self-awareness, which will in future contribute to our behavior modification. And this way we're able to grow our leadership circle. And like I said, even if you self-actualize yourself, you still feel there's something that you need to do to be able to grow. And a behavioral change ranges in scope from becoming a better listener. And maybe these are the things that maybe you've listed as areas that you require improvement. Creating an organization-wide change, attitude to diversity, because you're told the plan is a comprehensive plan, which is going to help each one of us in establishing our career on a strategic path of leadership. We're not becoming strategic. I want to be an inspirational leader. People will say every day, I want to be a good leader. I want to be a great leader. But you've never undertaken a strategic approach. So what we're doing now is taking that strategic approach to develop our own personal plan that will help us. And we're told in terms of strategy, we're looking at a period of maybe like 1 to 3 years, 1 to 5 years, you know, something, because it is a journey. You cannot be an inspirational leader overnight. It is a journey that you have to undertake. Yeah. So, and like you can see from this presentation, the sheet that is on the screen is whereby we're told that it is our vision statement, and it will help us in determining where we want to be within the 3-5 years. And on that blank sheet that you have, I'm sure all of us, when we came to this training, we had some expectations where we would want to be in terms of our career. So just write down, where would you want to be in the next 3-5 years? And as you write it down, try to visualize. In the next 5 years, where will I want to be? Yep. Because that is the only way you'll be able to develop an effective, workable development plan. Because you know where I want to be in 3 years. So what do I need for me to be where I want to be? I loved what the expectations of my colleague who said she wants to undertake a research. And because of that, she wants to be part of this training because she believes that it's going to help her as she undertakes her research. That is a vision. She knows where she wants to be. So what do you put in place to ensure that you get there? So that is what I would want you to write down on the blank, on the same page where we started. Where you want to be in terms of your inspirational leadership ambitions. An effective leadership plan should be documented and have easy accessibility. As discussed, it should be customized and have the scope for adapting it to the requirements of the changing circumstances. Documented. That is why we are documenting. Of course, this is some rough work. We just did an exercise. Once we agree on the plan and once I take you through the plan, I believe that you're going to develop your own development plan in a more organized manner. So it should be documented. That is why we are writing it down. Because if you don't document it, how do you remember? Yeah. And just to pause and ask ourselves something. Is that one? Because this is a very critical exercise as we get into the next level of our leadership. It's important to know that people always like when you portray your real self and be the real you. This because studies have found that replicas don't sell for as much as the genuine. Are we in agreement with that? When you're real self, and people know, if I go to a place and people will be like, Irene, just be yourself. I mean, yeah, be yourself. Because the original, you are an original. Each one of us in this training, my dear colleagues, you are an original. Maintain that original being in you. Because the moment you start being like someone else who you are not, you fail miserably. And the only way to be original is to develop a plan that works for you. Okay. So that was just a reminder that as we develop this leadership plan, let us be genuine with ourselves. Let's not try to be the other person. We are who we are for a reason. And each one of us, every one of us has the potential to be the greatest that they can be. There's so much to be great that we cannot utilize everything. So don't say if so-and-so is greater, then I can be great. All of us, there's room for everyone to be great. So as you develop yourself, be an original. And the questions that I want us to ask ourselves are this, as we're developing ourselves. So the first question will be, decide whether you'll be able to implement and follow your plan for a sustained amount of time. Yep. Okay. So the fundamental questions that we should be asking ourselves before embarking on these leadership plans are: one, find out, are you ready to commit yourself towards this kind of behavior? I pose it to you. Are you guys ready? You answer yourself. On that, you know that blank page that you're having? Are you ready? Because it is a journey. And we're told every great journey starts with a step. So we have started our first step. That's an indication that we are ready to commit ourselves towards this journey of becoming inspirational leaders. Assess what skills or competencies you already have as a leader. And I think we've done that assignment. Decide whether you'll be able to implement and follow your plans for a sustained amount of 8 to 12 months. Determine whether you have the patience and the perseverance to stick to the process even when you encounter obstacles. You're determined, you want to be determined. You want to be humble like Mother Teresa. But you can imagine the places that she went. She would go to the streets, should eat and sit with the street boys, with the sick, should get into a hospital where everybody, in fact, they'll say that when somebody is about to die, I was reading one of her journals and was saying, she had a mantra that when somebody is almost dying, take them to the Mother Teresa's homes so that they can die as they smile. Do you have that patience of having people who are just about to die? Can you imagine? Do you have that patience? But you want to be like Mother Teresa, then you have to have that patience. You have to persevere. And like most of us who interact, and most of us who maybe follow like Mother Teresa, because they're told, in case some of these people are your inspirational leaders, it's good to read about them, to understand them. All organizations that are associated with Mother Teresa, that's why they dress like her. And you see that they have a lot of clothing. And when they have a lot of clothing, in case they come across someone who is almost dying, because that is what they believe, that they want people to die, have a happy death. They're able to cover them with their clothing, you know? So for you who wants to be like Mother Teresa, are you warm enough that in case you meet anyone, even at the point of death, you're going to give them hope? So those are the questions that we're asking ourselves. And because you're determined that is what you want to be, don't give up. You'll try once it fails, try it again, try. You'll get it, you'll get there. So whatever obstacles that you're going to encounter, you want to be an eloquent speaker. You want to be a good presenter. You make a presentation, it can't make headway. Don't worry, you will get there. One time you'll stand in front of a crowd and be able to talk. We've had great people who are even stammerers. They believe that they could not stand and talk because they stammer. But because of the determination, because they did not allow the obstacles to stop them from being what they want to be, they are now one of the best communicators that we have. Yep. Okay. So for me, it's just an encouragement that let's not be discouraged, because nothing is easy. When you're going on a journey, we're told there'll be up and downs. We tend to rejoice and celebrate the good ones, but even the challenging ones, let's also embrace them, because that is the only way that we're going to be able to, that's the only way we're going to be able to achieve whatever we want to achieve. So now the steps that we'll have, I think we've been doing this, and this is more of a summary of what that we need to do. And I'm going to request, as I'm taking you through this, tomorrow, because we're coming to the end of our sessions, we're almost coming to the end of our sessions today. One of the recaps that you're going to do is that I'm going to request 1 or 2 or 3 volunteers who will be willing to discuss with us their leadership plan. We'll discuss, we'll give them their feedback, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm sure if you feel like you'd want to be one of the 3, write on that blank page and say, tomorrow, I want my plan to be discussed by my colleagues. That is one element of, that's how you start building your confidence. As whatever you have, you don't mind, because you want to learn from others. And How we're going to write the plans, I think it's all that I've been talking about. This is more of a summary. So one, before writing the plan, gather all the necessary information from the self-assessment. This will help in collecting and analyzing your data. Use this analysis and you can articulate the vision and the set objectives for leadership development. Which are these areas you as a person is looking to in terms of developing yourself? Yep. And in case you've been taking my assignment as I was going through, I am sure it will be very easy because I think we started by rating ourselves 1 to 5, 1 being the least, 5 being the best. And I believe you have a formula as to how you're able to rate yourself. That will be the analysis. Then articulate your vision for success and set objectives for realizing that vision. Articulate, sit and articulate your vision. What is your vision for success? Once you articulate your vision, set objectives for realizing that vision. We can say like, maybe we can look at someone like Barack Obama. We said one of his political, when he was doing his campaign, he said, I think we can. It was something, is it we can? Something like that. I'm not very, but it was something like we can. So if for you, your vision is like to be this, then this, because you're told for your vision is good to start to be, because it helps you in building up. And just as I'll say as a bonus, your vision should not be more than 7 words. Make it as short as possible. Because the moment you make it too long, then it becomes very difficult to remember. If you can, 5 words, the better. But let it not go to more than 7 words. Get that vision. Set objectives. I'm sure, like maybe Barack Obama, for him to get to the presidential of the greatest nation in this world, he had his objectives. And for those of us who followed his campaign trail, I think he went to the people. He would go and be with the people. I'm sure that was one of his objectives. So also articulate your objective. What do you want to be? And for purposes of this assignment, just articulate 3 objectives maximum. If it is 1 objective, that is okay. But let's not have, because again, when you have so many objectives, then you may lose track. So vision, 5 to 7 words max. Objectives, let's have 3 objectives max. Then now write the plan. How are you going to achieve the objectives? Objective number 1. What am I going to do to achieve it? Yep. In more details, this is already what you've done. The 5 elements that you need to continue to take in charge: the situation. You analyze your existing situation around the following pointers. Based on your rating, does your work environment promote a positive ambience for growth and high morale? What is hindering your productivity or helping in any way? Identify the possible measures that you can rectify to be able to implement improvement in your existing situation. Those are the data. Your current, this is about you're assessing your current behaviors. How are they? Are they going to help you to become that person you want to be? Determine the possible guidelines or action plans for modifying or improving the behaviors which you want to change. I want to be an eloquent communicator. Currently, I eat my words. I'm not able to articulate an issue. Yep. I'm shy. I'm not able to stand in front of people. I'm not able. I have a point. I want to say the point. I'm scared. Then when somebody says, I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have just said it, you know. Yep. Assessment. Ways in which you can assess your existing competencies. There's the exercise that we've been doing. Potential techniques you can deploy throughout the plan during the self-assessment. Have your own plan. How am I going to monitor that there's improvement? Yeah. Know-how. areas in which you're an expert and areas in which you need to improve or require some more experience. This is basically more of the, the strength that we have. How do you work with your strengths to ensure that you become better and sustain what you already have? Do you need or spend some more time working with individual departments of overcoming your weaknesses and developing your know-how in specific areas? So what are you going to do? Maybe there's someone who has a skill like in report writing or data interpretation. There are people who are very good in data interpretation. They're very good in Excel, in all this. So, and for you, you have that weakness. Talk to them. Get to know, get to learn from them. Nowadays, we have Mr. Google. In case there's an area that you feel you need improvement, talk to Mr. Google and get to know what you need to do. Education. Maybe there's an area that you feel you need further training in education. Like, no, for us, I believe we are here, all of us as colleagues, because we feel we need to be given more tips on how we can become better. We're good leaders, but we want to get to the next level of being wonderful, great, inspirational leaders. Education, maybe it's something to do with education. Maybe you need to go back to school. You need to undertake maybe some diploma, maybe higher diploma. You want to be a certified HR professional. The law requires that you have to have the CBD points. The law requires that you need to have undergo through the training, maybe whatever you need in some organizations for you to be a manager, for you to be the CEO, you need to have a master's. You already know you have a degree. You want to get to a master's. Maybe you want to become a lecturer. So you want to be an academia. So is there an education? What needs to be done? So you're going to list that on your plan. Do you require practical knowledge, which can be acquired from your peers, or do you need formal training, just like I've explained? Articulating your vision. I said this about the vision, where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Establish a personal vision and plan for where you want to be. A personal vision, not a group vision. In this case, since it's about me, it's about you, it's about I want to create a personal vision. Write some solid objectives you want to achieve for realizing the vision. Like I said, for purposes of this exercise, let's just articulate 3. In case you have more than 3, that is well and good. But for purposes of tomorrow, those people who will be willing to share with us at least 3 objectives. And how do we formulate these objectives? They need to be SMART. Remember SMART. SMART, S stands for specific. They need to be specific. One of my objectives is to attain my MBA by 2020, let's say 2025. This is for illustration's sake. I'm very specific. Am I specific when I say MBA? I need to be clear. It is my MBA in what? Is it in HR? Is it in finance? Is it in strategic management? Be specific. To attain my MBA in strategic management by 2025. By the year 2025. Measurable. Is it measurable? Yes. By year 2025, will I have gotten it? Yes or no? If I need to attain my MBA by 2025, what do I need to? I need to register. I need to go classwork. Of course, I need to pass my classwork. I need to undergo my research or my thesis. So there are areas that I can be able to measure. Am I attending class? If I don't attend class, I'm not going to continue to the next level. Is it achievable? 2025, we are in 2022. Is it achievable to achieve my master's within 3 years? Colleagues, is it possible? I believe it is attainable, because if I go to class within 3 years, I believe if I am determined, then it is possible. Thank you. Oh yes, thank you. Someone has said for Barack Obama, it was yes, we can. I'm looking at the charts. Thank you, Jane. Apologies accepted. Yeah, it's okay, you can drop off. And wish you all the best in your office meeting. And asante sana for the kind remarks. So is it measurable? Yes, it is measurable. Because by 2025, I'll be like, have achieved. Is achievable? 3 years? Yes. Is it realistic? Yes, it is realistic. But if I'm saying I want to have my MBA by 2024, that is next year, of course, it's not realistic. Is it time bound? Do I have a time frame? Yes. In my objective, I have a time frame of 2025. So my dear colleagues, as you're formulating your objectives, let them be smart. Let them be specific. Because the moment it's so ambiguous, then you don't know what you're looking towards achieving. Okay? Then that step. Okay, the next step, I've realized that every time I go to the chat, it takes some time before it buys in the presentations. So the next is on the writing down the plan. And as you're writing down our plans, we're requested to involve the self-development objectives, and we ensure that we have several competence areas. And we can break our plan into 3 sections. That I've explained. So the 3 sections we are feel your vision as part of where we want to be. And with that,
Sorry, could you put us the previous slide?
and like I say, that one, this has everything, this is a summary.
Sorry, okay. The one before this. Okay, this one.
This one.
No. After this, forward, please. The one just immediately before on writing the plan. Step 3,
okay,
writing
let's
the
get
plan.
there. About the vision, this one. Okay, does this? This one?
Keep on. Yeah, here. Just here, this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. So as a pause on that one, as a pause on that plan, is that now is a time for questions and answers. So in case there's any clarification that you may want. Okay. Daniel, can you hear me now? I've seen on the chat that I was not audible. Hope you can hear me now.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lillian had to leave. Most welcome, Lillian, for the kind statements. So any question or any clarification? I'm trying to look at the charts just in case there's anything I need to respond to. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Doreen, for that confirmation. So in the meantime, as we close it up, is that I hope you're all clear about our assignment tomorrow. And like I said, it will be voluntary. Whoever will be willing to share their plan so that we can just interact with it, because we are learning from each other. And I will seek that whoever will share their plan to be very objective and be open, because we're going to use it to just discuss and ask ourselves, is it the kind of plan that we're looking for? So that as we leave this training tomorrow, we are able to ensure that we're able to formulate plans that are going to work for us. Okay, yes, Daniel?
I'm sorry, Mwalimu, I had to join in late. I was attending some meeting. I was wondering if you can share this information maybe into our emails. Hello, Mwalimu, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear Daniel.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of sharing the, bless you. In terms
Sorry,
of sharing,
I had that on.
No, it's okay, my dear. It's okay. Don't worry. No worries. Yes, sure, Daniel. We're going to share this information on our. Normally, what we encourage our colleagues and our participants is that you log into our website. We have a YouTube channel. Like I said, that we are recording. And the moment we're done with this training, it is on YouTube. So you can always reach to it. And how you get to it is through, in case you have a pen, you can write, is https://achrp.org. And how you access is through your email, then the password will be shared. I'm sure it's been shared with you as you're making the payment. And you can always follow us from there. And all the trainings that we've undertaken, including this, will be there and able to share the materials. So in case you want to make any reference, that's why I made a disclaimer in the beginning that we're recording this training, because after this, we post it on our YouTube channel. In case you're not able to access it, you can always call us and we'll be able to guide you. You can call 0722 300 245, just in case you're not able to access. And I'm sure from that, you're going to be able to interact. And in case there's any area that was not clear, you're able to make that clarification. And of course, you can always also reach out to any of us, my colleagues, and we'll be more than willing to assist. Using that number, 0722 300 245.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Mwalimu. I will do that.
Be blessed to Daniel and everybody else. Oh yes, even Evelyn has said it's always shared in the portal. So if you go to our portal, you'll always find the trainings there.
Thank you.
Good.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
I was just wondering, I don't quite know how to do step one. Step one is when you are trying to see who is your model, and then now to see what you are missing, what you want to emulate on that model, and then you write the competencies that you are missing. Is that it?
Absolutely. Or wherever you want to be.
There's a data analysis part.
Okay, the data analysis part. Just give me a second, please. When you talk about the data analysis, this is more a comprehensive one, but for purposes of this training, when you talk about data analysis, the word may look like it's a big word, but it's a small things that maybe I've been pointing out. Maybe if I'm to talk about myself, if I was to take a data analysis, like now after this training, I'll take a data analysis of how this training went. One that I'll pick up is that At any given time when you have been training, power may go off. Yep. So what do? As a trainer, and since I want to ensure that there's flow in the training, we don't break it up. What will I put in place to ensure that in future? Exactly. So those are small. So it's not something that is very concrete. Yes, please.
Basically, I look at the areas of improvement I want to undertake on my weaknesses that I would like now, improvement. And then I'll set up a vision, and then now how will I achieve these objectives? Is that it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you very much for your participation.
Yes. Usually when you participate, you gain more. So I'm also learning. It's part of my learning process, my growth. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So any other question in case you're not able
Many thanks for today's session.
Welcome. And for my other colleagues, in case you're not able to articulate your issues, you can also type them on the chat. I'll check it up and I will be able to respond. And thank you so much for everyone who has been participating on the chat. So in case there's no other question, I will request for one. Thank you, Lucy, asking what time do we start tomorrow? So ideally we should start at 8:30. And it is my appeal that we all try and keep time so that we're able to move together. So at least you're there as we start. So 8:30 is supposed to run the training session. It's supposed to run from 8:30 to 11:30. Okay, so everyone, let's try and be there at 8:30. And I believe we're going to move on well. So in case there is no comment, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of our Academy for Certified Human Professionals to thank all of you for attending and registering for this training and being part of this great team as we empower ourselves, and of course adding and impacting knowledge to each other, because like I said, we learn from you, you learn from us, and we exchange ideas. And I also really want to thank you for your participation, for your patience, even when we had challenges. I really do appreciate. And thank you very, very much for the wonderful comments. Thank you, Juvie. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, everyone else, for the wonderful, positive sentiments. We don't take that for granted, because we believe everybody you meet for a reason. And this is a partnership that we hope and pray that we can be able to grow to the next level. And we can only be able to do that by participating in the trainings that we have, so that we continue, we build a network of experts, we build a network of people who are geared towards one vision. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say thank you enough. And I do look forward for another session tomorrow. Thank you, Caroline, Dorcas, Rahma, the KPR team for they say it was a wonderful session. Thank you, Joyce, for the comments. The training was insightful and self-reflective training. And for me, I think that is one of the objectives or one of the vision that I had as I was preparing for this training. I'd want to really challenge your self-reflection, because at times you look at other people and we don't forget we want to be what we want to be, but we never pause to ask ourselves, who are we? Where do you want to be? And what can I do to be what I want to be? So let's always continue having the self-reflection moments, and trust me, only the world can stop us from being what you want to be. So for me, thank you. I want to hand over to Dan, if he's still part of us. We had a word or two before we close the session. Okay, I think he's Jen. Is Jen with us? My co-facilitator. Okay. Okay, then I think with that, thank you, Carol. Thank you. Say it was a smart session. Trust me, it was good because of you people. Because at times when you have a training and people are not participating, you as a trainer also you feel frustrated. But when you have an active class, a class that is participating, colleagues who are willing to learn, colleagues who are willing to tell you things that maybe you don't know, then trust me, it can only get better. So good people, with no much ado, I want to call this class, to an end. I don't feel like closing it up, but it's very exciting. I feel like I want to talk and talk and talk, but we just have to close it up. And let's look forward to a better tomorrow, a great session tomorrow. In the meantime, kindly take your assignment, and I wish you all the best as you undertake it. Asanteni sana, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.